Okay, I get 12:30, so we're gonna kick things off. It's like people are still starting to join us, but they can catch up as we get going. So a good afternoon and a happy new year to everybody out there. Thanks for joining the call today. I know you guys got a lot of things going on out there, and appreciate you taking the time here. If you could just keep yourself muted during the call. There's a lot of people on today, and if you have any comments or anything like that, or questions or suggestions, just use the comment field in the meet, and then we'll collect those things and try to answer them as we go. Today we have some safety stuff to review, and then I have a few more things to go, and we'll kick it off with Michael. Mike, you out there?
Yep. Thank you, Sean. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all had a good holiday and you're getting back into the swing of things. The first thing I wanted to talk about was one incident that we had in November. It was an apprentice. He was wiring exit signs on the job site. He took a bundle of those wires that were coming from the exit sign and separated them out, and then was going to splice them. And little backstory: he was working from a 6-foot ladder, three rungs up, and then he began to strip the wire, and he got hit. So we took a couple things, lessons learned, root cause with this. The root cause: there was a wiring mistake at the control trough. There was wires spliced together that were not supposed to be. And I talked to the foreman about it, and he said, I know exactly who it is, that type of thing, and we made a mistake. So some of the lessons learned that we took from that are: test before you touch anything. Even if you know it's dead, just test it. You should all have tick testers. Just put it on there, make sure the wires are dead. If he had done that, we could have prevented this incident from happening. The next thing that they did is they turned all exit signs off, made sure they're completely dead, and then they were able to do that work safely the next time. So I know Jason's going to go over it a little more, but just please test before you touch. I want to make sure that we keep everybody safe and we don't get anybody hurt. So the next thing I had was just some COVID protocols. It is still going on. We're still seeing cases come through. So I just wanted to clarify some of the CDC guidelines so that everybody is aware of what they are. So if you do test positive, you will be out and have to quarantine for 5 days, starting from either the date of symptoms, or if you're experiencing no symptoms, then the date of the positive test. Hold on a second. And then you can return on the 6th day. And then following that, the 5 days following your return, you will need to wear a mask for 5 days. I would recommend using a surgical mask rather than neck gaiters or a KN95, just to be on the safer side. And then if you were exposed to someone that has COVID and you have the booster, then you just should wear a mask around others for 10 days. Again, like I just said, with either the KN95 or a surgical mask, just to be on the safe side. And then if you are not boosted and you're exposed, you need to stay at home for 5 days and wear a mask that 5 days following your return to work on the 6th day. So if you have questions, please reach out to Jason or myself. We can answer those for you. We're pretty versed on what the CDC guidelines and things like that are. So just again, any questions, reach out, and I will pass it along to Jason. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Mike. We did have one more electrical related incident actually this week. We had a low voltage guy get hit with 120 while working in a security panel. He was going in to pull his Cat 5s for card readers, and there was a 120 feet of THHN coiled up inside the panel. Wasn't taped off, wasn't capped, and it was live. So when he went to go move his wires around, he got hit with the 120. It was a different electrical contractor that left that in there, but still, he could have tested that. He could have had a tick tracer on himself as well, or he could have asked the electrical contractor to test it for him before going to work in that panel. You can't just assume that the wires that are pulled in there and whipped up and coiled around are dead, because clearly they're not. So that could have been avoided. That was a different electrical contractor that set us up for failure there. But for our electrical side, Foreman here, if you're feeding panels for the low voltage guys, just make sure you test that for them, confirm it's dead for them. If they would like to add a lock to your lockout as well, encourage them to do so. So definitely work hand in hand with those guys, because this definitely could have been avoided. The low voltage guys too. I'm not sure if you carry multimeters, but tick tracers, not only electricians use those, every trade should have them as well, I think. They're definitely a valuable tool just to touch something to see if it's energized. You never know. But that definitely could have been avoided. Other than that, the only other thing I wanted to mention is from December 10th until January 4th, we were injury free. So we almost went a month with no incident. So things are definitely looking better out there, and that's definitely thanks to you guys in the field encouraging the guys to do the right thing. So thank you all. And Sean, that's all I have this week, or this month, rather, quarter actually.
Thanks, Jason, and Mike too. And just to touch a little bit on what you were saying there, Jason. We don't really hear too much about telecom guys getting mixed up with electricity, but to me, I look at them just like it would be a carpenter or a tin knocker or whatever. They have an exposure. They should reach out to the electrician and try to get them to identify what that is, especially if they see there's not a wire nut on there or something. So you got to keep your eyes open. You may not have a tester or a ticker or something like that. Again, I agree, it's a good idea. I've seen a lot of carpenters to keep them too, especially if they're up in the ceiling shooting track and stuff like that. It's good practice. Is it required? No, it's not required, but it is a good practice. They're in a close field, so it'd be good. And if not, they should definitely reach out to their supervisor or whatever if they see something in there that they're concerned about. I have a couple things to go over too, and I'll keep it brief, and we'll get this thing going. First thing I have is on Bluebeam training. We took a little bit of break through the holidays, but we've been conducting Bluebeam trainings for several weeks. We've had a number of classes, and we had some good feedback from the classes too. The first classes we had were just the overview of some of the tools and the desktop setup. So it was really kind of an informal kind of training. There wasn't any class participation. It was just really an explanation of what things were. But I think it went really well. We kept the classes tight. There were only 2 hours long, no more than 14 people in a class. And again, it was really only 2 topics there. So things moved along pretty well. We do have the next class that's set up, curriculum we're working on now, but we have sent out some of the schedule requests for people that had signed up for these classes in April. And the next classes are going to be on takeoffs and measuring, and calibrating, and search for text. So it's more like the estimating side of things. In fact, we're going to have a few of the people from the estimating department here at Sully Mac contribute to the training of this class. So it's they're going to give you their tips and tricks on things that they found on how to count things and do stuff like that. So it should be really good. So they're working on fine tuning that curriculum now. And like I said, we've already started taking requests for seats for these trainings. So if you haven't got one and you're interested in these classes, please reach out, contact Dock Control, and they will make sure you get the form. But these forms went out to all foremen in April, and we got maybe 70 of them back. So maybe it's less than half of the foremen actually responded back to it. But if you're hearing about it for the first time, that's what we're trying to do to help you guys along. So take advantage of it. It's a worthwhile thing. The other one I have is about evaluation. So what we like to do, you guys should know by now, apprentice evaluations, they go out first of every quarter. You should have got one by now because this is January 6th now. So I think they went out on the 3rd. So we're just looking for you to go through and evaluate the apprentices that are under you. It's very important. It's good information for us, especially for the labor supers, they see that, and then they try to tune the apprentices up if they need some tuning, or they maybe they give them a pat on the back or something if they're doing a really good job. I mean, it's a good way to show the value of the apprentices that you have, or try to get them the training that they need to make them a little bit more productive and attentive. On that too, if you can identify journeymen, I mean, it's not through any specific form or anything, but journeymen that may have special experience, or they're doing an outstanding job or something like that. Maybe they have MI training. Maybe they have fire alarm experience. Maybe they have experience with controls or whatever. You guys will know that because you're working with them, but maybe some of the other people don't know it. So I mean, if it's helpful if you can share that information with your labor superintendents, Brian, Stevie, and Johnny, and then hopefully those people will kind of get to the positions where they need to go to. Okay, that's all I have for today. Again, I appreciate your time, and thank you, Mike and Jason, for jumping in there with those safety tips. Again, if you have any questions or anything that you want to contribute, you can reach out direct or leave a comment, and we'll catch you on the next one on March 30th. Thanks very much, and have a great new year.
Thank you, Sean.
Happy New Year, everybody.